Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beneath Vancouver Radio. My name is Aaron, and we're on episode number 54, which is crazy to believe. But it's been a good experience so far in 2021. We are slowly but surely getting closer to that 100th milestone. So we might make it by the end of this year. Who knows, maybe 2022. But let's go into today's episode. I have special guest Shay here. Shay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on the show. I've been following your work for a while now, and just wanted to again give you huge kudos of all the amazing content that you put out there. And for those who don't know Shay, she's a college lifestyle YouTuber that relatively recently, right? I only started following you kind of like near the beginning of this year, late last year. But I think the YouTube journey is something relatively new for you.
Super recent. I think I started in January, so
Okay.
it's been almost 5 months.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, you've definitely grown a lot in the last 5 months, and it's some good content. So, we're gonna jump right into it as I usually start these podcasts, and I'm gonna let Shay answer answer this question. And who are you today?
So I am a content creator, and my platforms are on YouTube, Instagram, and my blog. And my content surrounds productivity and college lifestyle. So with that being said, obviously I'm also a university student, and I attend a university in Vancouver called Simon Fraser University. And yeah, I'm a fourth year health science student, also doing a minor in business administration. And I'm doing a lot of other things on the side. And I think I've always struggled with this kind of question because I would surround myself with so many different disciplines and like different
Hmm.
volunteer opportunities and stuff like that. So I've always had a hard time just like putting myself into a one liner. And
For sure.
yeah, that's something that I wanted to touch on.
No, yeah, and I think as well, like it's good in my opinion, and I'm sure other people as well that are tuning in to be exposed to these different disciplines because you get so much, I guess, knowledge or experience in these different avenues, and you can really apply them to different things that you want to do in life, right? I'm sure the business administration side will help you potentially down the road, like with sponsorships and all these other things, and really being able to sell at the end of the day your brand and who you are to people. So it's good that you're getting exposed to those things. I think it makes you overall a very well-rounded individual. But I'm going to rewind a little bit. You mentioned obviously you started kind of at the beginning of this year. What kind of led you to actually like create this, I guess, channel, right? Or this to be a content creator in general? Was it something to do with COVID, or was it not COVID? Always wanted to do it. You finally got a chance. What's kind of the story behind that?
So I think it starts with me in high school where I've always
Okay.
wanted to kind of have a personal brand on social media, any form of social media, but I was obviously too scared to do it because I did not start any platforms until I think first year university.
Hmm.
And I kind of started off with writing blog posts because I had this point of burnout and I was like, this is not the healthiest way to be dealing with school and life. And
Right.
I think I grew up a lot around hustle culture, and that was what was big when I was in high school and first year university. And
Hmm.
I was like, this is not responsible content to be showing kids. So I think that's why
Are
I
you
started
telling
off
me
my
that drinking
blog to
three
kind of
coffees a day and waking up at 4 in the morning is not sustainable? What? I've been doing it wrong.
hon- honestly, I don't know how some people do it. I know it's mostly anecdotal evidence, but we all know that that's not sustainable. And that's something that I wanted to kind of share with people and share a different way of getting a lot done and getting to where you want to be without having to sacrifice your physical and mental health. So I started off with my blog, and then I moved on to making my personal Instagram more of a business Instagram.
Hmm.
And when I first made the switch, I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna lose so many followers because most of my followers are friends. And I think it was a really scary step because my blog was obviously when I first started, it's like you kind of had to search my name to get to it. But on
Hmm.
Instagram, I had my friends and family on there, and that was honestly a really scary thing at the time. But I've been learning that if content creation is something that I want to do, I obviously need to kind of dive in without judgment and
Right.
allowing myself to be. So yeah, and then recently, it was actually inspired by my boyfriend. He has a YouTube channel and he makes content around chemical engineering. And I was like, YouTube looks really fun. So I guess in January, I just started making videos and I found that this is the platform I resonate with most and I
Mm.
feel most comfortable in. So I'm really happy to have found this platform.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I'm sure like one of the things as well is when you're starting off with any kind of content, you always probably think to yourself that, who's going to listen, who's going to tune in. Are people actually going to care about what you write, what you talk about, like in a podcast or the videos that you create in YouTube and other platforms as well. And it's like to our surprise, and I'm sure other people can relate to this as well, is like there's so many different people, and kind of it's kind of in this classroom setting where you ask a question and you might think is stupid, but in reality, like you've probably have four other people in the room wanting to ask the same question. It's kind of the same mentality. People might think you not don't want to look into that content or might want to get exposed to that content, but in reality, there's so many people out there that will actually benefit a lot and really be thankful that you're creating it, which kind of leads me to the next point of recently you posted on your Instagram where you got an email from what looked to be like a viewer slash subscriber. Can you tell me a little bit more about that experience and want to share that to those who don't follow you?
So I woke up the other day to an email from a subscriber, and she was just basically saying that this is the first semester where she found my videos and started applying some of the tips and advice I was giving. And this is the first semester she got all A's in her classes, and she attached like a screenshot of her GPA throughout all the semesters. And you can see that there was a huge difference in the term GPAs where she went from like 3.5, 2.7 to a 4.0. And I'm like, holy crap, like it's actually helping people. And I like the point of what you said earlier about how we kind of doubt ourselves and we're like, who's actually going to be listening? Like,
Right.
who's actually going to be helped from my content? And I think I consume a lot of content online and I don't personally message them, or I rarely comment on videos and I rarely engage with other people's posts, but there are a lot of posts that help me out. So it's kind of important, if you start to create content or if you become a content creator, to kind of trust that your content is going to resonate with someone and that it's helping someone, even if you don't know directly. So when I got that email, I was like, oh my goodness, like I knew what I was saying was not like BS, but I was really happy. I was really happy that people are seeing results, and I'm sure it's the case for more people, but I just don't know about them.
Hmm. And kind of like, I guess, in terms of your idea and your inspiration for the content, obviously, again, earlier you mentioned that you're a student yourself, and everything like that. Is it kind of you base things off the struggles that you've had throughout your university career, such as like maybe, study habits or productivity habits or note taking, etc., or do you kind of think about it as like this is kind of what's quote unquote trending? For example, obviously the transition to online schooling this year was, I'm sure, a very difficult one for yourself and millions of other students as well. Was that kind of like the focus of more of on the at home digital style? I'm just maybe people are a little bit curious as to like what inspires you and where do you get your ideas from?
I think I base a lot of my content, like when I'm creating content, I try to think about who's listening and who's my audience. And
Hmm.
when I know who my audience is, then I know what they want to know. And most of my audience is just high school students and first year or earlier university students. And when I think about that, most people struggle with time management, productivity, procrastination, and these problems don't change when you're in online school. I think
Or
these
when you're older.
problems actually get high. Yeah, if you, yeah, I guess if you don't work on it, that's a problem that kind of is a problem all the time. But yeah, I think that I try to think about what my audience wants to hear first.
Mm-hmm.
And I do add like for online school just because most people are on online school and that's just keywords for
Right.
you. But most of it just comes from what does my audience want to hear and what is something that I wanted to hear when I was younger that would actually help me out. Because I think a lot of people, I do base some things on like how it's helped me, but I try to
Mm-hmm.
back it up with things that work for most people and things that are backed up by a lot of research. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. And I think as well, it's having that mixture of both anecdotal and also kind of the more generalized, not blanket, but just kind of this more general, right? And more general kind of pieces of advice that, there's the way that you operate and how you take notes and how you do schooling and stuff like that might not be for everyone. So it's nice to be able to have that flexibility there and being able to make sure that you're grasping a large net when it comes to that kind of that kind of advice. What's been kind of the experience so far? Obviously, you've been doing it for almost half a year now. I believe as well. There's a couple of videos that were pretty neat. Like, was it matcha? Like at home? I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
at home cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just there are a lot of Instagram accounts where they're just making drinks and I'm like, that's so fun. And I don't know. I've been spending so much time at home that I'm like, I can't go to cafes because of COVID. Well, like cafes are open, but I'm like, might as well be safe and stay at home. So
hmm
I bought a lot of ingredients from grocery stores and just like started making drinks and started filming them.
No, that's good. It's fun to, I guess, just kind of change things up too, right? And being able to you have obviously your core content, which is the student college lifestyle thing, and then as well switching over to, hey, you're at home as I am, let's make some drinks together, which is always kind of neat to do. One of the questions that I wanted to bring up, and I've been asking this for a lot of the YouTubers that I've had on the show, and I'm sure you might get this, you might not get this a lot, depending on I guess as well, like how long you've been doing it. But what's been the biggest obstacle so far in terms of not just growth in general, but maybe making sure that you're consistent, content ideas and stuff like that? What's been kind of the largest obstacle throughout your YouTube journey thus far?
I think I've never really struggled with being consistent on YouTube. I'm usually the type of person that when I set a goal, I try my best to do it. But
hmm
I think one of the biggest obstacles when it comes to YouTube was when a video went like performed well. I had a video early on that performed well. And after that video, when I was making my next video, I think I struggled with thinking that I had to top that last video that
Right.
did really well. And I think that increased the hurdle for me to actually film something and to edit it and to actually click publish because I'm like, if this video doesn't do as well as the last one, then this video is not good.
hmm
And I think it's really important as a YouTuber to kind of remember that although your content matters, a lot of it has to do with luck. And honestly, like
Speaks
if
the truth.
your video perform, yeah, I think if your video performs well, it doesn't mean that you made like the best video ever. And sometimes it's just luck that the algorithm picked it up. And it's good to remind yourself of that so you
hmm
don't get into that weird mentality where you have to top all your videos.
Yeah.
And I've just been posting consistently and I'm like, if this video doesn't perform well, it's okay because I like it and I
hmm
think my audience would like it. And yeah, I think that was the biggest struggle where I would kind of get in my head and I'm like, oh, is this video going to perform well? Instead of just posting it and knowing that YouTube is kind of a long term game.
Yeah.
So if something doesn't perform well right away, it could later down the road. And you just kind of have to, as the MLM people say, trust the process.
Yeah, as the MLM people say, trust the process. Yeah, no, that's there's no sense of like, I guess, getting too deep. Like it's a bit of a double-edged sword. You obviously, you like seeing the numbers, you like to see potential, like that's just, in my opinion at least, like a psychological thing. You're seeing, your audience
Mhm.
grow, your numbers grow, your engagement, your outreach, etc. But on the other side is like, you have to always remember, and I bring this up a lot, and a lot of people have as well in the podcast, is like understanding your why and why you're creating the content in the first place. It wasn't to, hope that you've got 100,000 subscribers in 3 years time or 2 years time or whatever the case may be. It's because you really enjoyed this certain topic, whatever your topic might be or your niche might be, and you wanted to share that and that interest with others, right? That's really what it boils down to. So it's important to separate yourself from that, because yeah, you can definitely get lost in the numbers game, and then you're always trying to chase that, and you try to replicate potentially a video that did really well, and then you do it exactly, and next thing you know, the second time you do it, it's a complete flop, and then you're just asking yourself like, what's going on, like why isn't this working? And yeah, you just get you'll get more frustrated than enjoying the actual, as you said, the process. So yeah, I'm not a full a YouTuber, but I can definitely relate to that with other kind of concepts of content. So that's an important thing to always
Yeah.
bring up. What's kind of the I guess the next steps for you in terms of like the actual content side of things? You're obviously going to graduate, I'm imagining at one point eventually, whether that be this
Mhm.
year or next year. Is that a fair assumption to make?
Yeah.
So what's kind of like the next steps after, however long that might be in terms of your channel, in terms of content? Have you thought that far? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I have, but I think I'm pretty lucky in that although I'm graduating, I'm just going back to school again. So I can
Yes.
still keep on making college content, just milking college content. No, I think I've definitely thought about it because I know I won't be a college student forever.
Mhm.
I'm gonna enjoy my time as a college student for the next, I think I'm graduating, but I'm going back to school. So I have 3 more years of being a
Okay.
college student. So after that point, I know that I've always been passionate about health promotion, and I kind of have like an undertone in my videos talking about mental health and physical health, and that's something that I do eventually will transition to talking more about that and also about like personal development. I don't know. I have so many like ideas, and I think another struggle of mine is that I need to focus in order to do something because I have so many passions and I have so many interests that
Mhm.
I really need to allow myself to focus on one thing so I can actually see results.
Right.
And yeah, so I think my YouTube will slowly transition into, I guess, more not college lifestyle, but someone in their 20s lifestyle
Right.
content. But I would still love to keep that mental health talks and physical health kind of health promotion within my videos.
Yeah. And I think by the time you do, leave like or finish the school system or finish school in general, it's going to be, 3 years into that. And I think at that point as well, people, your fan base or your subscribers or people that watch your videos are going to be watching it mostly because of who you are. Right. And also as well, the content, it's similar to like other things. You build off really small, like in terms of your niche, and you build like a fan base and, loyal following and customers or whatever the case might be. And then you can start kind of going into different areas, and then people will enjoy it as well because it's still you, right? It's still who you are and your style of video and your narrative and stuff like that. So and I'm sure those people are probably near their 20s as well, or going close to that. So it's relatable nonetheless, and I'm sure people will enjoy it. So that'll be fun though, as well. That'll be in a, hopefully in a post-COVID. Well, I mean, 3 years, but better be in a post-COVID world. I'm
I
not
hope
even
so,
hoping at
unless
this
there's
point. It
like a
better be.
weird strain.
But
Yeah, I'm just
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I think I always find that I love YouTubers that I can grow with and that are going through similar life obstacles as me. So I think that's definitely going to be a lot of fun kind of growing up with my audience because I
Hmm.
already know that my audience is kind of near my age. So
Yeah, I'm on a completely different kind of side of YouTube. I grew up with a lot of, as a consumer myself, I used to watch a lot of gaming videos back when I was younger, like early high school, middle of like grade 10 kind of era. And those people that are
Mhm.
still making videos today, all our audience, whenever I look into the comments, it's always like, I'm 23 now. Like I started watching you when I was 13, and like 8, 9, 10 years later, like I'm still watching you. So it's definitely a unique experience, and kind of your audience grows along with it. So it's a nice feeling to be a part of like a community, I think, as well. And more now than ever, people are obviously looking for that, and to feel like, people are listening, right? And we're listening, everyone who's tuning in.
Mhm.
We care. Um, what's the, I guess, of a two-sided question here, and I think I've also asked, I'm not 100% sure, I think I've asked everyone that kind of makes YouTube videos here, is what's been your favorite video to make, and that might answer the following question of like, what would be your favorite video to make, like if you no budget constraints, you could go anywhere within potentially your niche, or maybe not. So a little bit of a double header there.
I think my favorite video or a favorite type of video that I've been making is like the home cafe videos. I think
Hmm.
I I like the creativity in the editing because when I have talking head videos, I'm just looking at myself. But when I edit myself making things, I can add a lot more creativity to it and change up the editing. And yeah, the content does not relate directly to my platform, but that's I've made so many versions of it because I actually really enjoy the type of video, and I know that most of my subscribers end up watching it. I think all the other types of videos I get non-subscribers watching it, and
Mm.
it's usually found through the search engine. But my home cafe videos are it's just like a little corner for me and my audience, and I always see the people that are always engaging with my content, watching those types of videos and commenting in my home cafe videos. So I really appreciate the closeness I feel with them.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, with that being said, my like dream video to make is just like a Mr. Beast type of video.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I think I've always had in mind that with my platform, I always want to give back. And I've done like mini giveaways, even though I'm still not earning anything off of YouTube directly. I do mini giveaways and things to give back to my audience because I know that I would not have the platform I have
Hmm.
without their support. And yeah, so I would love to be like Mr. Beast, just giving things away to my subscribers. I think that would be super fulfilling. And that's something that I want to incorporate a little bit of that Mr. Beast giveaway stuff in the future when I can afford to do it just off of my YouTube revenues.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. That'll be the if that when that happens, I'll be sure to say, yeah, she was on my podcast. So plug that in
Yeah,
somewhere.
just like yeah, I'll put this episode in all my videos and be like, trust me guys, just stay with me till the end.
Exactly. Long, as you said, it's a long-term game. No, that's awesome though. And I think as well, like, you kind of have like that style of videos that you enjoy perhaps a little bit more than others, or that you kind of enjoy the little bit break from, such as like you said, the home cafe. And it's a nice cute little thing to have, and it's something that you enjoy doing, and as well seems like your subscribers and your audience does as well. So it's like a win-win for everyone. I think that's when you know that you're on a right path, and that you actually are on YouTube for the right reasons. And obviously, as for the Mr. Beast stuff, I mean, he does some pretty crazy things. So I'll look forward to the day
Mhm.
when that happens, and I'll make sure to be in the area. I'll be like, yeah, I'm coming. Here we go. Um, no, that's awesome. And I guess like I think as well, YouTube in general, and not just YouTube. I mean, content creation, right? Is something that has really, really kicked off in the last, couple of, well, last year. ever really since COVID struck. Everyone's at home, and that's when TikTok blew up, and you see, the Bella Porches and the whatever the other people are, Charlie, and I don't even know who's big on TikTok. I'm not really that into that app. So are you big on the TikTok?
I'm really not. TikTok makes me feel like a dinosaur. I have
Right?
zero experience. I have no idea what's going on in the TikTok world.
Yeah, I gave it a shot at the beginning, kind of like, yeah, last year in May and June, and then I was, no, this, you know what, I'm not sure. And half the stuff I see now, I'm just like, I don't even get. And the it's in this weird phase now where stuff on TikTok is slowly migrating to Instagram in terms of like the trends and the culture and the memes. So I'm like seeing stuff and
Yeah.
people are sharing, and I'm like, where's this from? And they're like, you didn't see the TikTok? Like when that sheesh thing first came out, I was like, what the heck is that? Like, well, where's that from? And they're like, it's from TikTok. And I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. I can't keep up. But what I was trying to say is that content creation in general has obviously blown up in the last year, and a lot of people are trying to either become YouTubers or, TikTok or whatever the case might be. Streaming as well is pretty big now and pretty mainstream. So it can be a lot of comparison, I guess, a lot of comparison in terms of comparing, sorry, I should say, with yourself, with other creators, other people that obviously you potentially get inspiration from and aspire to be, i.e. Mr. Beast. How's that? How do you handle that or handle that kind of aspect of creating where you can sometimes get lost in comparing yourself and comparing your journey to someone else's journey? Has that been something you've experienced yet? If so, what would you recommend to someone who's in like similar shoes, that's potentially, just starting off in creating in general, and is, looking at these bigger YouTubers or bigger creators, and you're just like, why am I not there?
I definitely struggle with comparison. I think with YouTube and also in real life. And with YouTube, I found that if I'm being healthy with my comparisons, because I think it's important, um, although like YouTube and content creation just sounds like fun, like if you want to make it into a business, I think it's important to look at analytics. And
Right.
when you look at your own analytics, it's really easy to kind of compare it to the people who are in that same niche and being like, how's my analytics performing against all these other people? And I think it gets unhealthy when you start to kind of overwhelm yourself with those feelings of why am I not good enough? And I've been trying to take the healthy approach of looking at my analytics where I only look at it if I'm about to improve on something or if I can change something about it. And I don't look at it unless I'm using that information to change my content in a way.
Right.
And I think that's helped with looking at the numbers. Also, just like comparing videos against each other, like my personal videos against each other, it's really important to kind of look at it from a lens of like a business owner and not personally, like not taking the numbers personally and being like, these two videos, like they're basically talking about the same thing, but one did better than the other. And instead of being like, oh, you just became worse as a content creator, to kind of look at where did the audience drop off in the video, for example, if you're looking at your watch time, and
Mm-hmm.
just really honing in on the analytics, but not taking it personally and only looking at it if you're improving your channel in some way has been a really helpful thing that I've been doing. And I've also had, I have like this group of girls that also have YouTube channels, and I've been doing monthly calls with them. I think you know one of the girls in there, Meg.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know Meg.
So we're yeah, so I think it's been really helpful to surround myself with other YouTubers and kind of getting support from them instead of seeing them as competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that having that kind of growth mindset and that abundance mindset really helps um, kind of keep going, because I think it's really easy to stop YouTube. I think a lot of people that don't find success on YouTube usually is because they don't stay for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
And comparison is one of those things that contribute to that. So just having a community and understanding that your analytics is not a reflection of who you are, but yeah, those things were
Yeah.
what kind of helped me keep going without being sad about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. No worries. In terms of, I guess, like the nearing the end of the episode now, kind of like the finale question, so to speak, in kind of that as well. And I think it also relates to kind of what you just said in terms of, making sure that you're not comparing yourself, surrounding yourself with a good group of people. And what piece of advice would you give to your younger self, who's, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case might be, in terms of not just YouTube, but just overall kind of where you are in life?
I think I would just tell myself that there are many different ways of doing things, and it takes different amounts of time for every single person to get to the same point, and to just allow myself to be without any judgment or any ego, and focus on myself, and just letting myself be at the end of the day, because there's a lot of self-judgment that can happen, especially in the online world, and it's important to not let that inhibit you from getting to where you want to be.
Yeah. And I guess, like, as well, for that in particular, like, if kind of shifting gears into a quick little second question here, what any advice for people who are looking to start YouTube, again, maybe within even the same space or different space?
Um, just do it and stick with it for a year and see what happens. Your videos are not going to do well right from the beginning unless you're extremely lucky and the algorithm just randomly picks you up. And just know that having 5 or 10 views for the first, I don't know, even if it's for the first 20 videos, it doesn't mean that you're not cut out to be a YouTuber or a content creator. If you just keep on going, produce content that your ideal audience would want to watch, then you'll find success over time.
Oh, very well said. As you said, it's a long-term game, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. And that applies to not just YouTube, but life and content and everything that you're doing out there is, give it your best shot and try to see where it goes. And, you're not going to see success overnight, right? Those people that get really big and viral off, a couple of videos, it's definitely more luck involved and everything along those lines. And that's not to say you can't be that lucky person as well, but usually from what I've seen, it definitely takes a little bit longer than just a couple of videos to really establish yourself, and make sure that also your why and you're doing it for the right reasons. So very well said, Shay. And I really do appreciate you coming along and sharing your thoughts and kind of your story as how you started your YouTube channel. As I mentioned earlier, it's always nice to see people just wanting to give back to the community. Obviously, that's a big portion of why I do this podcast, is to allow local individuals and creatives and business owners, et cetera, to share their story and to give them a platform to let people know, we're not different from anyone else, really, right? We're just here creating things that we like to do and sharing people's stories. So thank you for coming on the show. Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you and do your plugs? All the plugs right now.
Okay. So my main platform is YouTube. You could just search my name, Shay Hayashi, on YouTube and find me there. I also have my Instagram. My Instagram handle is Shay Hayashi again. And then my
Branding.
website is Shay Hayashi. Yeah. Made sure to reserve everything. And my blog is shayhayashi.com.
There we go. I'll make sure to leave everything as well in the show notes on the audio version. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put it in the description down below. And if you are, hopefully you enjoyed, and you can take a look at all the other episodes as well, available on the channel. Thank you again, everyone. This is Aaron from Beneath Vancouver Radio. Hopefully you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.